Okay, one thing I want you guys to notice is our printmaking center and how it is set up. So we're doing the foam plate printmaking. So this is the box that all the supplies are in, and this is what is in the box. And I want you to notice that these all need to go back into the box. It says you will also need a brayer. So over here are the brayers in this container here. And when you get your ink, you will need a brayer and one of these inking trays. It's just a placemat, basically. And then in our bin here, we're going to have trays. The ink colors, I think I will print with some yellow, and a palette knife. And I'm going to use one of these rollers to push the ink down with. Because we're probably going to be printing as a class, I will probably have colors set up at different inking stations for you. But when the printmaking center is open and you have free studio time and you want to do printmaking on your own, you will just take these supplies and go back to your spot. Also, you'll notice over here on the shelf, we have various colored pieces of papers. So you're going to pick what paper color you want to use and make sure your name and teacher code goes on that paper. Because I am going to use yellow ink, I'm going to pick a colored paper that is going to have nice contrast with the yellow. Something a lot darker, like maybe dark blue, purple, or black. Okay, the first step is you're going to need to take some ink out of the jar. You don't need a whole lot. We're not printing 1,000 copies. Just a little dab like this. You're going to spread it at the top of the tray. Make sure you wipe that off with a wet rag. Then you're going to take your brayer and you're going to just touch a little bit of ink with the brayer and then roll the ink out onto the tray, rolling both horizontally and vertically because you want a nice square of ink on the tray, and you want the whole brayer covered with ink. If you have any spots that aren't covered on the brayer, it's not going to cover your plate, and that's not going to be good. So roll it all out. You don't want the ink to be really sticky. It's kind of like this. It looks like the skin of an orange. That's perfect texture, all right? Then you're going to roll it out. This is why you want that food cutting board thing. And now you're going to roll the ink out on top of it all the way to the edge. And then I might put a little bit more on there. And you can see where I push down, there is no ink. That's perfect. If your whole thing got covered with ink, then you did not push down hard enough. Now I want to remove this from here because I don't want this ink on my paper. Put that down. Now I'm going to take my paper, put it right on top, and push. So I like to use these and just roll it across so that I know I'm getting enough pressure, and then I can gently pull it. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. And there's my print. So we're going to print this way, and if you want to use two colors, you could do that. You could go to one print center and put one color on top, and then go to another and get another color on the bottom. All right. Wipe this with a wet cloth, or I can just go to another print color and put the color right on top. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you could even get a second print. I didn't re-ink this, but let's see if I can get more color off of here. This is called a ghost print, and this is just a fun way to even clean your plate before moving to a different color. But you can see there's still, that's showing through pretty good. So now my plate's pretty clean and I could go to a different color. All right, have fun printing, artists. Time to clean up. You're gonna take a wet rag, wipe your knife palette knife off. You're going to wipe the brayer off on the wet rag. Get as much of the ink off as you can. And we don't put the brayers in the sink. You can wash them with a wet rag. Make sure you also wipe the edges, the side, like that. All right, then you're going to put the brayer back in the container that you found it. The trays, if you have a lot of extra ink right here, you can scoop that back into the ink container. That way we don't waste. There was still a lot of ink left. So scoop your ink back into the jar. And then, again, you're going to wipe the tray clean as you can. That's pretty good. And then you're just going to put this in our dirty water bucket. Just put it right in there because that'll get the residual ink off. And by the end of the day, it'll be clean. I'll take it out and dry it. All right, let's make sure we clean that printmaking center up good every day so we can keep it open for the rest of the year.